Oh, this is like 5 minutes, 10 minutes after I made the other one. I'm going to title that one Ground to Dust. Just thought of it when I made that verse, quoted at the end. I forgot, I wanted to make, it's kind of a joke. I don't discriminate. I deal with every department. SO, Jim Wells, deputy. You know, we had a friend at the fire department. This is funny. Ron Prey. And Ron was, nice guy, Ron. And the guys always knew I talked about, they knew I was into the Bible and all. And Ron, he had a background in Church of Christ. And they were all good Christian churches. But Ron would be very anti-Catholic. And I was not, Catholic, but you know how I defend various historical defenses for all the churches, seeing them all as Christian. And over time, Ron married a Catholic girl, nice girl, Hispanic girl. And Ron became Catholic, and I think some of it was because of my, trying to show him different viewpoints. But I'll never forget, it was funny. But many of the debates with Ron Prey, it was funny because Ron was also a Mason in the Masonic Lodge, and he would defend the Masonic Lodge. And I'm not going to do a whole thing on the Masons. Overall, they're fine people and what they do with the Shriners, but in the Christian faith, there are many difficulties. If you're a Christian and you're pledging allegiance to different types of secret organizations, so I don't recommend being a Mason. But I just want to acknowledge that there are fine people that are. But over the debates, some of the guys said, at the firehouse, it was kind of like a joke, but they said, well, the Masons actually refer to the head of the lodge or something as worshipful master. I think that's true. So it kind of became a joke, Well, Ron, but you're calling that guy a worshipful master or something. And there are problems. Trust me, I'm not justifying the Masons. But then Ron, like I said, he became a Christian. So the reason I'm thinking of that is I could title this Sheriff is a Satan worshiper. I never did the sheriff's department here, dealt with anything, but about a month ago, his name, I think, is Jim Kalin. I don't know the sheriff. I believe this came out of, Ron, I think, used to tell me that Sheriff Kalin was a Mason. And at that time, and he's still sheriff. But this issue, though, also was one that I probably should have mentioned. We had a couple of cases of guys dying in the county jail. The sheriff, under the sheriff's authority, you have city and county, but some died under the custody of the sheriff, multiple ones, suicides or whatever, and made it, and one of the stories that made it to the news was, I believe it was a black girl who was an employee for the sheriff's department here. This happened about a month ago. And they had a meeting, but she was not in the meeting. And one of the sheriff's guys, high up, referred, I don't think he used the word nigger, but he said something like, I like blacks, everybody should have them as like slaves, or something to that effect. This came out, this is public. Well, obviously word got to the black employee, who also has to work under that man. Normally you get fired for that. But she lodged an anonymous complaint because she's scared, even though she was also working for the sheriff. I don't know if she still works for the department, the sheriff's department here in Nueces County. But they investigated and they asked why didn't he do nothing. Initially, the sheriff did not do anything, and he said because the complaint was anonymous. But he knew but yet if he investigated. Just the fact that that sheriff's guy would make a statement like that would be enough just to fire. But I also thought every week the Crime Stoppers is always asking for anonymous complaints. If you're a citizen and you see someone commit a crime, it's standard procedure. All your tips are anonymous. It's perfectly legitimate to, if you see a crime, to call in Crime Stoppers, anonymous. But yet the sheriff said, well, I couldn't accept or investigate it because it was anonymous. Now, eventually, because it made it to the media, it was true. He made that statement, the sheriff's guy, prejudiced statement towards blacks, who one of his employees was rightfully upset. And the guy retired or resigned. And of course, the sheriff is a Mason, so I was going to make a joke, They actually are devil worshippers. I just thought of that. Ron Prey. Ron's funny, because Ron, we were working at the little firehouse once called Station 2 in Kingsville, right by A&M University in Kingsville, little firehouse. And on Christmas and Easter, those days, if you're at work at that little firehouse, there's only 2 guys there manning that station, me and Ron, or me and whoever. And so we would maybe get in the ambulance or in the fire truck, and you can go a couple blocks. Ron's family lived a few blocks away. They were having like a little Christmas, I think it was Christmas or Easter. And so he wanted to go get the presents and all. It was funny, because I'm in the ambulance. We went in the ambulance just a few blocks so he could do the presents, Christmas. And I'm outside waiting in the ambulance. It's not long, and, we were in service. If they needed us, we would respond to a run. And, man, on the way out, I hear them yelling in the house, cursing. Like, what the hell are they doing? And then Ron gets out, and he said it was like his in-laws. Somebody got a present, and they said, but you didn't give me the one. Because it was some were white in the family, some were Hispanic. And it was a family thing, and they're like there in Kingsville, side street, whatever street, Richard or Henrietta. And I'm kind of laughing, I'm like, Ron, what the hell? And, it's like a family feud. He laughed too. And he told me, oh yeah, they got in an argument about one of the presents. But I just wanted to mention that, and I was thinking of Ron. That was funny. And they gave him a hard time. Oh, you're calling a guy, oh, worshipful master, Ron. You're a devil worshiper. So I figured this video would be, yes, even in law enforcement, they're devil worshipers. Okay, that's it. I did a whole video for that.